Welcome to Meditation Path. Let's lift the mystical veil and have a look at Buddha's evolutional philosophical system, which originated in ancient India. His pursuit of enlightenment has given us an insightful exploration of the universe. Species alterations can be attributed to both active and passive practice as they constantly modify their behavior to conform with the environment, storing up a plentiful array of experiences in the process. There was no theory guiding the practical behavior of these living beings before humans understood the mechanism of this evolutionary process, as they followed natural processes without language or writing. In the evolution from ancient humans to modern humans, there was no ancient human who succeeded in practice and then formulated a theory that was followed by others. Consequently, modern biology views the evolution of all organisms as a random natural selection process. However, after the appearance of humans, the pattern of biological evolution changed, creating a new pattern that is unique to humans. Evolution through rational guidance is a mode that occurs under rational guidance. The development of humans no longer only pertains to the physical realm, as our cognitive capabilities are progressively advancing as well. Our awareness has evolved through history, a key demonstration of this being Buddha. After his realization, he condensed his enlightenment into a doctrine in order to guide those on the path who were still at an earlier stage of consciousness. Evolutionary theory suggests that in order for a species to evolve, it must adapt and develop distinct patterns of behavior and lifestyle. Such changes, however subtle, can lead to a qualitative shift over time, eventually resulting in considerable alterations at the species level. Many organisms encountered throughout history have adapted passively to environmental shifts, giving rise to different forms of life and aiding the species' progression. The most noteworthy example of this is likely leaving home. The strange characteristic of humans that encourages them to long for change in spite of the unchanging natural environment compels us to ponder its origin. Through a broader biological lens, we can note that this behavior is similar to the modifications which living creatures respond with due to environmental fluctuations. This transformation in lifestyle and surroundings, often referred to as cultivation, has been practiced in various religions and customs around the world for centuries and has been strongly backed up by those same belief systems. The monastic approach of Catholicism, the Taoist system of meditation in China with its hermitages and temples, these are all forms of humans seeking a proactive development. Today we will primarily consider meditation and yoga, which were highly prevalent during the Vedic culture period in ancient India. It was common for proponents to leave their mundane lives and practice in the forest. The ancient Indians were firmly convinced that by self-improvement they could alter underlying physical and spiritual deficits of the human species, acquiring supernatural capabilities that would make them a new race. Many of us can be tempted to write off this belief as simple ignorance. However, historians recognize tremendous achievements in philosophy and culture at the time when numerous influential philosophers and religious leaders appeared across East and West. In ancient India, spiritual practice was widespread, which allowed for conditions conducive to enlightenment, as seen with the Buddha. This was due to the sheer number of originators who contributed to evolution, illustrating how the development of a species is correlated with their participation in its growth. However, these practitioners would also influence other people to join their ranks, thus creating a virtuous cycle. The Buddha lived in such a golden age, which compelled him to renounce. For society at that time, this was a transcendence of rational social activity. Nowadays, people think renunciation is only a religious behavior, but that wasn't the case then. During that time, renunciation and spiritual practice were actually behaviors similar to scientific ones. Scientists today study quantum mechanics in the laboratory, or observe distant nebulae using telescopes. It is very similar to science to conduct practical actions like this of exploring the origins of the world, and finding a way to escape life's suffering. The Buddha was a pioneer in this area. There was no systematic theoretical support for Vedic yoga before him. From individual practice to group meditation, there was a lot of chaos and blindness in the practice. In those days, the practice was still primitive. However, after the Buddha established the three treasures system, he began a standardized paradigm for upgrading species, starting with these forms. Over time, the structure of Buddhist monasteries has been drastically altered. Arguably the most significant change has been the implementation of the forest monks, or Paibashi in Chinese, which is an arrangement where a large collection of monks reside together in a communal setting akin to a giant tree. This system was founded by Ma Tzu with the intention of introducing order and control to the increasing number of disciples within these communities. Today, this practice is known as the forest system and continues to provide a structured approach to managing religious life within monastic societies. People gradually lost sight of the essence of practice as Buddha's teachings were institutionalized. As more monastics became members of social organizations, the original purpose of establishing a new lifestyle to depart from secular society and reform began to blur. Much as Wusong and Lushanshan became tools for avoiding disasters and achieving secular goals. It has been forgotten and discarded that practice can promote evolution in modern times, leading to its relegation to an unimportant corner of the world as a result of the rise of science. Under conservative religious support, monastic and temple life continues to follow the formalism of the past. The National Geographic magazine has increasingly transformed temples into tourist attractions or historical and archaeological sites. There is no longer a way to upgrade human species through collective practice in modern culture. In both Southern and Tibetan Buddhism, true practice and true practitioners no longer exist, from theory to practice. There is no denying that some contemporary people, including highly educated individuals with systematic scientific training, are dissatisfied with the ultimate answers provided by modern science. Whether it is the nature of time and space, the unified theory of the universe, or the true origin of life, these highly educated individuals return to the temple to study the philosophy of Buddhism to obtain satisfactory answers. The effort is ultimately futile, and it only increases their difficulties. In Beijing, an incident involving those claiming to be Buddhist temples occurred here a few years ago, which caused a stir. Each year, many graduates of master and doctoral studies from higher education establishments are puzzled by the quantum entanglement in their thought process. It's unreasonable to expect them to comprehend Buddhist texts as solutions to problems that perplex the ancients. Rather, they ought to apply more up-to-date means in their pursuit of progress. Making use of already established human technological capabilities should be seen as the right path for species upgrade. Scientists have shut out the common populace from the developments of species consciousness evolution by positioning themselves as aloof and superior. Concurrently, ancient temples have become obsolete, hence, a new method of practice is required to fill this gap. This new approach will gradually amalgamate contemporary and traditional cultural know-how accomplishments, ultimately becoming an integral part of future life. Its value in actuality and history cannot be downplayed. Thanks for watching.